Hi, Lisa Marie Kosis, founder of Global One Health. This video is next in the plank series, and it's just showing you a couple of ways of how you can make the basic plank a bit more challenging so that you can build strength and endurance in your plank to be utilized for other more advanced exercises as well. So, one variation I do suggest is to start with an assisted plank where you're not in the steepest position, hands on the ground, which is more challenging, but start here, right? So you're decreasing the degree of difficulty in a basic plank when you are using a prop to raise the arms up higher, right? So this is an assisted plank. I am using here a table for support, just to hold this position and review a couple basic pointers, right? I'm gripping my hands into the surface that I'm supporting myself on. I'm corkscrewing, externally rotating my arms in my socket. I am not collapsed into my shoulders. I am pressing myself away from the surface I am pushing into, and I'm going to engage my glutes. I'm in a slight posterior pelvic tilt position. I'm not high up on my ankles. I'm trying to get nice dorsiflexion, which creates more activation of the foot and the lower leg muscles as well for support, right? So you're supporting yourself from head to toe, even though most of the weight bearing is going to occur on the arms and shoulder joints. So from here, if you can own this position and hold for an extended period of time, minimum of 10 seconds is my suggestion, right? So if you can hold this position, of course, one of the things, shoulders are packed. That is video number 4, keeping those shoulder blades plugged into the back. So everything is engaged. The easier of the two, in terms of lower and upper extremities, to take away as a base of support is to start with the feet. So you'll notice I'm just going to raise my foot up a couple inches, right? So now I'm testing the waters to see, can I maintain a nice stable plank position and remove, just like we did in the hands and knees when we're getting into crawling. And the beast activations, right, is how can I, engage my core, glutes, everything more to take away a base of support, right? So that is the first thing I would suggest doing, is taking the foot off first. Removing a hand is much more challenging. Again, the same principles apply, all right, and I'll show you this on the ground. The same principles apply as they do in the cross X lift in GFE and in the beast activations in crawling and animal flow, right? So if I'm in this plank position, right, if I'm doing it from the ground, if this is easy, then I would now go to a lower angle or all the way into the ground if I'm able to hold this position. I'm gripping the floor, corkscrewing, pushing away, packing, engage my core and glutes. I take one leg out, then the other leg out. Now, one thing you can do, I suggest, is taking your feet a little bit wider, more like a shoulder width distance apart, will increase your base of support. And then again, you're just going to try to lift up one leg at a time without compensating. So one big compensation is you don't want to lift a leg and lift and the whole pelvis moves up in space, up and down, or the tailbone comes up. Now you're arching, right? We talked about that in that first video. You want to maintain that more hollow body position through the lower back and really be engaged in the glutes and core. And then just taking one foot off, using the glutes to lift up the leg. So once you're in your basic plank position, be it assisted on the ground, right, you do those first. Once you can hold a nice solid plank in the ground, if you want to make it harder, you can either take one foot off at a time, and if that feels a little bit challenging, so if going from a straight plank, you feel really good and you can hold it for 15-20 seconds, and then as soon as you go to pick up a leg, you collapse, then you need to continue holding your plank longer, but also to build more endurance in the core structure and other structures. But that's when you would want to do your assisted variation. So if you decrease the angle or raise it up, right, you're decreasing the level of difficulty. So then you can say, well, I can hold a plank there. Can I take one limb off the ground there? So again, if you can't do it from here, start on the table. And if this gets easy, then your goal is to eventually work down to where you could do it on the ground, taking one foot off and not shifting, right? So again, you don't want to take a leg off and then be moving the body in a lateral direction. Nothing in the body should move except that foot coming off just a few inches. So the name of that exercise is actually as part of the mat repertoire, this one. So in Pilates, we call this leg pull down, right? So I'm pulling my leg up, but my body is facing down. So leg pull down is a classic exercise in the Pilates mat repertoire, but it is also considered a variation of a 3-point plank, right? You're taking one foot off the ground and then you are only on 3 supporting limbs. So it could be done in both modalities, but it's a great exercise to build core strength, build strength in the shoulder girdle. You want to have a good amount of strength in that capsule to be able to support your body in a lot of movements, right? We talked about that, push-ups, presses, things such as that, like that. So you want to do what you can to build that strength in those upper extremities. So get down, weight bear, practice your planks at different angles. Again, I don't recommend a soft surface. You don't want your wrist joints to collapse into what you're leaning on. That's not going to give good support to the joint structure. So stick with something more firm and solid to support your wrist joint from the other side. But I hope that was helpful.